Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wellness Wednesday 3 Questions. This is my short show where I ask my special guests questions about mental health. The whole reason for doing the show is to provide some support and to help eliminate stigmas or fears behind talking about mental health and mental illness. And so I have my very special guest today joining me, and I will ask him his first question, and that simply is, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? That's the first question.
All right, thanks for having me. My name is Aaron Bublitz, and I serve as pastor at Heritage Lutheran Church in Gilbert, Arizona. I've been here for 3 years. Previously, I was at a church in the north side of Milwaukee, Wisconsin for 8 years, and it's my privilege to be with you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Second question, why is mental health important to you, Pastor?
It's important because it affects the way we look at life, and it impacts, of course, as a pastor, our relationship with God. And so just like our physical health is important, and our spiritual health, of course, is important, so is our mental health. And all of these things are connected and combined and intertwined with each other. And so all of those things to be working together to be healthy in the same direction is really, really important.
Okay, beautiful. I agree 100%. And so that leads me into the second question. So you are a pastor, you're my pastor, and there's a huge stigma with religion and mental health.
Mhm.
Oftentimes people think that you can't address both of them.
Mhm.
And our church has done a very good job with addressing both of them because, as you said before, it's all important, it's all intertwined. And if we're stunted in certain ways, then we can't receive certain things that we need to receive. And so I want you to speak a little bit to stigmas in the church, just to help people unlearn some of the things that they've learned about mental illness. And
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's just this idea that and many people, that if I've got mental issues and I share this with others, it's a weakness, and that it's something I'm just going to keep behind closed doors, and something that's these demons I'm going to have to fight on my own. And the idea of getting help for those things is seen as you're weak, and that you don't have your life together, and that's unfortunate, because we don't do that with our health, right? We shouldn't at least be struggling with our physical health. And, well, I've got this broken arm and I'm just going to have to deal with this. No, we go to the doctor and we get help for that. And so, yeah, just working through that stigma, that it's something that is people are going to look differently at me or treat me differently, or that I got to figure this out for myself. I just got to work through this. And very often the cases that can't happen, help with someone outside is needed. It's necessary in order to be able to work through whatever the mental health issue might be for that person. And then within the church specifically, I think there's this tie that somehow if I'm dealing with mental health issues, that my faith is weak and that I don't trust God enough. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, right? That definitely, like we said, those things are intertwined, but they are two separate parts of us, the spirit and mind, and they work in conjunction, but yet they're two different things, that are two different struggles that we sometimes face. So, break this down, that if I'm struggling with depression, or if I'm struggling with some sort of mental health issue, that's not a sign that I have a weak faith or that I don't trust God. It might affect my faith. It might be affecting my relationship with God, but it's something I can be open and honest about, because this is the way God has made me, and because of the effect of sin in our world and our bodies, we have to deal with these struggles. But there is obviously spiritual support for these issues, and there's also mental health support especially from a Christian perspective, that can be given to work through these and to find health and healing for both mind and soul.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for those perspectives. And I think it's really important to hear it from a man of faith. So I really appreciate you being here today. and sharing that, just so, people can understand if you are struggling, because I've had a few clients, that I've seen that the question is, I'm going through this mental health struggle. I must not be praying enough. I'm experiencing, this, kind of this anxiety. I must not be doing something enough. My connection with God must not be straight, things like that we've heard. And so it's very affirming to hear you kind of provide some safety and, to some support to people who are feeling that way. That might not necessarily be the case.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the case. God loves you, despite, and that there is help. There's spiritual counseling, there's Christian counseling, and there's support from your church. So
when I have people come to me for counseling, I there's two parts of it, right? There's the spiritual aspect that as a pastor I'm trained to do. That's what I'm here for, is to provide that spiritual counseling. But I don't try to pretend that I know about the mental health side of it. I'm not trained for that. And so and I know a lot of pastors do. They also set their members up, or the people they're counseling up with not only spiritual counseling from their pastor, but then also mental health counseling for that as well, with a professional counselor who is trained in those things, and preferably a Christian one. So we're working together and focusing on God and his promises and his love for us. But both of those things are again connected, but different, and both need to be addressed, spiritual and the mental health issue.
Okay. Well, thanks again.
Very
This has been Wellness Wednesday 3 Questions. Again, it's just my short show to help eliminate stigmas with mental health and mental illness. And so I'm happy that you joined us today. If you would like to be a special guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me. The website is www.ptaylorconsulting.com, or you can give me a phone call, and that number is area code 262-207-4130. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. Thank you, Pastor.
You're welcome.